When you talk about fear in boxing history, one name still echoes louder than most: Mike Tyson. In 1989, Tyson wasn't just a heavyweight champion, he was an event. The aura, the intimidation, the explosive knockouts, they created something almost mythical. Fighters didn't just lose to Tyson. Many were defeated before the opening bell. His peekaboo style, taught by Cus D'Amato, allowed him to explode forward with terrifying speed, generating power from his legs like a coiled spring releasing. Even today, decades removed from his prime, people are curious about what that energy felt like live. That Tyson effect still sells. It's nostalgia mixed with danger, and even if time has slowed him physically, the memory of that destructive force remains powerful enough to headline global events. On the opposite side stands Floyd Mayweather Jr., a man who built his legacy not on fear, but on precision and calculation. Mayweather isn't chaos, he's control. His shoulder roll, defensive reflexes, ring IQ, and ability to neutralize opponents made him nearly untouchable. Undefeated at 52-0, Floyd mastered both the sweet science and the business side of boxing. He studies risk like an investor analyzes stocks. He doesn't enter fights emotionally, he enters strategically. If Floyd steps into an exhibition with Tyson, it's not random, it's measured, it's planned. It's business, combined with ego. And historically, Floyd never signs a contract unless he believes the advantage firmly belongs to him. Few men understand Tyson better than Evander Holyfield. Having faced him in two of boxing's most infamous battles, Holyfield knows exactly what makes Tyson dangerous. According to him, distance is everything. Give Tyson space, and you risk being knocked out, moving backward. Stay too far away, and he builds momentum. But smother him, close the distance, disrupt his legs, and you reduce his explosiveness. Holyfield also hints at age being a wild card. Tyson has shown before that fatigue can creep in unexpectedly. Yet, he also acknowledges something important: Tyson's unpredictability makes analysis dangerous. You can prepare for patterns, but Tyson often breaks them. This fight isn't just about two legends, it's about platform power. In the streaming era, Netflix changes the economics completely. Traditional pay-per-view events once generated hundreds of millions. Imagine those numbers now, with a global subscription base. The barrier to entry is lower. No $100 purchase. Just click and watch. That accessibility transforms curiosity into massive viewership. The spectacle element increases because millions who wouldn't normally buy a boxing event will tune in. The fight becomes less about belts and more about content, premium content, in a streaming war where platforms compete for cultural moments. Floyd understands something many athletes never grasp. Attention equals currency. Throughout his career, he turned criticism into profit. People paid to watch him win. They paid to watch him lose. Either way, he earned. Exhibitions provide high revenue with controlled risk. No sanctioning body pressure. No mandatory challengers. Just event-driven spectacle. If Tyson's recent appearances prove nostalgia sells, Floyd sees opportunity, and if history tells us anything, it's that Mayweather rarely miscalculates financially. There's a reason younger generations still know Tyson's name. Even those who weren't alive in his prime feel curious about what it must have been like. That curiosity is powerful marketing fuel. When Tyson steps into a ring, it triggers emotional memory for older fans and fascination for new ones. It's not about titles anymore, it's about reliving history. The mystique is a brand, and brands don't age the same way athletes do. From a stylistic standpoint, this matchup is fascinating. Tyson thrives on forward pressure, leg-driven bursts, and close-range destruction. Mayweather thrives on angles, timing, and defensive counters. One represents aggression, the other represents control. But age complicates everything. Reflexes decline, endurance shifts, recovery slows. The question becomes, can Tyson still close distance explosively? And can Floyd maintain sharpness under heavyweight pressure? In exhibitions, pacing is controlled, but pride can change tempo quickly. Some analysts argue this fight serves no sporting purpose. Both men cemented their legacies long ago. There's no championship at stake, no historical ranking shift. From this lens, the fight exists purely for commerce. Yet boxing has always balanced sport and spectacle. From Ali exhibitions to crossover events, entertainment has always existed alongside competition. The debate isn't new, it's just louder in the social media era. The financial upside is obvious. Minimal long-term career risk compared to title fights, global attention, massive streaming numbers. But physically, even exhibitions carry danger. Tyson's power is real. Mayweather's timing is real. Age doesn't erase muscle memory. One clean shot can change everything. That unpredictability keeps fans engaged, even if officially labeled an exhibition. Ultimately, this fight lives at the intersection of legacy and curiosity. Tyson represents raw chaos from a brutal era. Mayweather represents strategic perfection from a calculated one. The competitive stakes may be low, but the emotional stakes are high. Pride, ego, brand, and nostalgia collide under bright streaming lights. Whether critics approve or not, millions will watch. Not because they need resolution, but because they need to see it with their own eyes. And in modern boxing, curiosity might be the strongest selling point of all when discussing the psychological aura of heavyweight boxing. The name Mike Tyson inevitably resurfaces as a symbol of fear, volatility, and raw destructive force. In his prime, Tyson wasn't merely winning fights. He was collapsing belief systems. Opponents often appeared defeated during ring walks, overwhelmed by the anticipation of violence rather than the violence itself. His peekaboo style, sharpened under Customado, turned compact footwork and leg-driven torque into terrifying knockout sequences that unfolded within seconds. What made Tyson unique was not just power, but acceleration, the sudden explosion from a coiled stance into close-range devastation. Today, even decades removed from championship dominance, the mystique lingers. The public fascination is less about rankings and more about reliving a feeling, that electric uncertainty that something brutal could happen at any second. This nostalgia is not passive memory. It is an emotional trigger powerful enough to headline global streaming events. Tyson represents a time when heavyweight boxing felt dangerous in a way that transcended sport. And that psychological imprint still carries commercial weight. On the opposite spectrum stands Floyd Mayweather Jr., whose legacy is constructed not from chaos but from calculation. Where Tyson overwhelmed, Mayweather neutralized. His defensive mastery, shoulder roll, timing, and surgical counterpunching formed a style built on risk management. Undefeated in his professional career, Mayweather transformed boxing into a high-level chess match, where positioning, data collection, and precision outweighed brute aggression. He studied tendencies, the way analysts study financial markets, never committing emotionally to exchanges he could not mathematically control. Beyond the ropes, he engineered a persona rooted in wealth, superiority, and invincibility, understanding that public polarization fuels revenue. If Tyson's brand is danger, Mayweather's is inevitability. When Floyd signs an exhibition, it is rarely impulsive. It is strategic. The calculation includes timing, opponent condition, public curiosity, and financial upside. His career pattern suggests that if he steps into a ring with Tyson, he does so believing variables are tilted in his favor. Former heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield provides a uniquely qualified lens on Tyson's dynamics. Having experienced Tyson's aggression firsthand, Holyfield often emphasizes that distance management defines success against him. Tyson's power is lead generated. It thrives when space allows momentum to build. Smother that momentum, close proximity, disrupt rhythm, and the threat diminishes. Yet Holyfield also acknowledges the unpredictability embedded within Tyson's identity. Explosive fighters operate on instinct, and instinct can override tactical blueprints. Age introduces another unpredictable element. Stamina fluctuates. Reflexes decline subtly. Recovery windows shrink. However, muscle memory and competitive pride can momentarily resurrect past intensity. Holyfield's perspective highlights that analyzing such a matchup demands humility. Patterns exist, but Tyson historically shattered expectations in seconds. The tension between strategic containment and sudden violence defines the intrigue. From a business standpoint, the streaming era transforms the equation entirely. Traditional pay-per-view once relied on direct purchase barriers, generating massive revenue from concentrated audiences. Now, global streaming platforms alter accessibility. When a fight migrates to a subscription model like Netflix, the friction to view decreases dramatically. Millions who would never spend premium pay-per-view fees may tune in effortlessly. This shift reframes boxing events as content assets in a competitive digital marketplace. The objective expands beyond sporting merit toward subscriber retention and global engagement metrics. In this landscape, nostalgia becomes monetizable intellectual property. Tyson's aura combined with Mayweather's undefeated mystique creates cross-generational magnetism. It is less about belts and more about cultural moments engineered for mass participation. The fight becomes not merely a contest, but a content strategy. Stylistically, the contrast between Tyson and Mayweather presents a study in opposites shaped by time. Tyson's forward pressure historically depended on compact head movement and explosive bursts designed to collapse defensive structures quickly. Mayweather's philosophy, conversely, centered on data accumulation, reading opponents, adjusting mid-fight, and controlling tempo. In youth, such contrasts might produce dramatic unpredictability. In later years, pacing and conservation dominate. Exhibitions often blur competitive intensity with controlled choreography, yet ego can reawaken dormant instincts. A single clean connection from Tyson, even at reduced velocity, retains psychological weight. Similarly, Mayweather's timing and reflex memory could frustrate aggression into fatigue. The uncertainty lies in how aging physiology intersects with ingrained identity. Fighters do not abandon who they are. They adapt within limitations. Critics argue that such exhibitions prioritize spectacle over sporting necessity. Both men have secured legacies immune to historical revision. No championship legitimacy hinges on the outcome. Yet boxing has always balanced theater and competition. From barnstorming exhibitions to crossover events, entertainment has long coexisted with sanctioned ambition. What differentiates this era is amplification. Social media magnifies skepticism while simultaneously fueling curiosity. Ironically, criticism often strengthens visibility. Detractors question motive, yet viewership projections remain substantial. The spectacle narrative may irritate purists, but curiosity frequently overrides principle when legends share space. Under bright lights, ultimately, this potential clash operates at the intersection of ego, economics, and emotional memory. Tyson embodies raw volatility from a ferocious heavyweight era. Mayweather symbolizes defensive perfection and business acumen from a hyper-calculated generation. Their convergence feels less like rivalry resolution and more like symbolic theater. Two philosophies of boxing, colliding decades after their primes, whether framed as commerce, nostalgia, or strategic branding. The event underscores a modern truth. In contemporary combat sports, attention is the most valuable currency. And when icons whose names transcend generations align within a single narrative, the world watchers, not because something must be proven, but because curiosity demands to be satisfied.